Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Geri Doncheva. In today's edition of our commentary studio, I will speak to my guests about the world of insurance and its fundamental basics that we have to know as an end client. I will ask them all about the principles of the insurance process as we know it today and how will it change in the future. My guides through this complex field will be Associate Professor Angel Duraliski, who teaches theory of management, management policy, and creative methods in management in the University of National and World Economy, Sofia, and also Associate Professor Željo Hristozov from Higher School of Insurance and Finance, Sofia. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Thanks, fine.
Are you ready to talk about the world of insurance?
Of course.
Yes, I am also ready to know more about this field. So by the words of Lemonade CEO Daniel Schreiber, I quote, "There is something profoundly broken in the world of insurance. To get to the bottom of that statement, we should first take a glance at the market today and in the past, of course." So what is the big picture and how do we understand the world of insurance?
Yes. Well, we are living in a high-tech era, and technology is an essential part of our business and communication. Advanced technologies are introduced in the insurance sector as well. Electronic policies are issued. Modern software is used for the assessment of different risks, as well as for the assessment of the solvency and capital adequacy of companies. Various software programs are used for the assessment of the insurance claims. But I think the insurance sector still remains on the sidelines when it comes to the latest technology upgrades that are used in other economy sectors. The insurance industry is still not user-friendly for its consumers. There are, or should be, ways to get insurance in just a couple of clicks from your cell phone, or to file an insurance claim and get paid without going to the office, but right in your bank account. These possibilities could be offered, considering the latest news from the world of advanced technologies is the use of blockchain for electronic or the so-called smart contracts. But generally, the insurance industry is still very conservative. The client still has to go to the insurance company office or to the broker's office to get insurance or to even file a claim.
So we'll talk about this a bit later, about the brokers, but now, how did the insurance change over the last few centuries and did it change at all?
The insurance industry is not static, but the tempo and changes are slower than in other types of companies. They're still not using all the available opportunities provided by advanced technology, like cloud and blockchain. We observe that the old established companies are becoming less conservative, the companies that have been on the market for 100 to 200 years. Their business models haven't changed much in the past decades. Currently, there are new insurance companies emerging on the market that are offering insurance services through the use of advanced technologies. In this way, they are attracting a large portion of the clients of these big established companies. If the old players on the market want to keep these clients, they have to invest in these advanced technologies. Otherwise, they'll look like a single mechanical watch in a digital era.
Sounds fair. It really sounds fair. Who are the biggest market players and how do they change the marketplace?
I wouldn't divide the insurance market players into big and small companies. Rather, I would group them in a different way. The old established insurance companies and the new ones that aim at the use of advanced technology.
Old and new, huh?
Yes, new technologies. Because, well, because advanced technologies are invariably changing the world. The investments in these are not small, and the new players invest considerable resources. In this way, they're making their products very user-friendly, and this is what modern customers prefer, because it greatly facilitates the insurance process, the submission of claims, the flow of information. In my opinion, in the next decade, the new companies will occupy a bigger market share, a much bigger part. And the older companies have to become more open-minded to get out of the thought pattern that they're in if they want to meet new demands.
Which are the most regular types of insurance?
In general insurance, there are multiple branches. And in every branch, there are several types of insurances. The oldest types of insurance include fire insurance, marine insurance, and vehicle insurance.
Of course, cars.
Yes, no new types appeared with the development of humankind, like warranty, credit, miscellaneous financial losses.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Also, there are a lot of compulsory insurance types, according to different legislations, that are much more strictly regulated by law. One of these would be the civil liability insurance for drivers. The most widespread insurances worldwide are insurances of property, legal person insurance, insurances of various infrastructure objects, big industrial companies, as well as different types of liabilities. For instance, in many countries, membership in an organization involves certain professional liability.
Very interesting, huh?
Yes.
Associate Professor Doroliński, I want to ask you, what is the main problem that the insurance companies are facing at this stage?
My associate colleague, Professor Christozov, one of the best specialists in the insurance industry, has discussed the main aspects of the projects from the insurance viewpoint. I, in turn, thank you for the question. I deal with more management problems, the problems related to the development of the insurance company management. So, I will talk from the management viewpoint. And, in response to your question, in my opinion, one of the main, maybe the most important problems is the adaptability. From all these systems, ecological, social, biological, doesn't matter which ones, how they adapt to them.
That's true. That's true.
You can see, for example, there's a lot of big banks, but small organizations still exist. The most important problem is the adaptation, because this problem is related to the objective characteristics. There are a lot of these, but in our limited time, let's take just one: globalization. All the spares of the economy are getting global. Markets, new products and services are offered. New technologies are introduced. New clients now have very specific demands, optimization of the customer search, and so on. To sum up, in reply to your question, there are objective tendencies that require behavioral change and adjustments from any organization, including the insurance companies. Therefore, the adaptation problem is the biggest one for any organization nowadays.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. What are the most recent trends in non-life insurance?
The latest trends in general insurance are related to the development of multi-covered products. The ones that combine multiple risks.
More than one. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and the adaptation of such products to specific needs, to different market segments. Separately, in the segment of catastrophe risks, there are interesting tendencies regarding the use of financial markets in the management of these risks. For example, the issuance of catastrophe bonds or alternate risk transfer. Lately, we've been witnessing the introduction of cloud technology in the insurance sector. And, in my opinion, in the near future, most of the insurance products will be offered in this form, with the use of smart contracts that automatically complete the process related to the return of the insurance. For example, I'll give you an example, the insurance of flight cancellation. One computer software can easily verify when the flight was canceled, and in case of such insurance, the client does not have to go to the insurance company to file the claim.
Refunded.
He or she can receive the compensation
How
directly
about
on their
that,
bank account.
huh? Wow. That's very. I want to try it. How does the change in the business environment affect the activities of insurance companies?
It's well known that in the business environment there exist different spheres: economical, social, climate and nature, etc. It's characteristic of modern business environment to be very dynamic and unpredictable. And this is in all the spheres. The environment is more dynamic, which means that the companies must be more flexible.
Of course.
They have to adapt to the changes to follow the dynamics of the business environment. This environment, as I describe it, has one specific quality. There are many possible ways of development. And we can add here that the environment can be measured using different qualities. One of them is dynamics. The most important quality of the environment, I stress again, is the dynamics. If we take the current 10 years and compare to the previous 10 years, for some professionals in sectors like IT technology and similar economy fields, the speed of general dynamics doubled. So all these factors, and what are some of the factors of the environment? We can divide it into elements that are factors and elements. The elements that directly affect a company, in our case, an insurance company. So when we analyze the environment, determining the factors is very important. And the element of this environment directly affects our activities, the resources that we receive, the products and services that we provide. So one more time, to answer your question, I want to stress that we have to watch the dynamics and the unpredictability of the environment that affects the prognosis, the analysis, and so on, for the successful operations of the management.
Of course. Management. What are the major disruptors in the insurance marketplace?
I'd like to stress some more important moments. As in general, there are a lot of factors. In the forefront, I would say that the process of obtaining insurance itself and the processing of insurance claims should be the most stressed. At the moment, the insurers go through a set of complicated procedures with a big load of documents, and so on and so forth. All this cultivates a lack of trust in the consumer. The insurers proceed this way because their goal is to cover only the real claims. Because in the history of insurance, there are many cases of insurance fraud. And this is the scourge of the insurance business. That's why insurers complicate the procedures to prevent fraud. And I see one unique opportunity in these cloud technologies, the opportunity to fight these frauds, because information exchanged this way cannot be falsified, because you're using cloud technology.
Do you have an information? Do you have an idea or information? What is the percentage of the frauds in the insurance field?
There are no official statistics of what is the percentage of the insurance fraud, but from my observations and experience in the field, I can conclude that in a country of the size of Bulgaria, the insurance fraud constitutes up to 10 to 15% of all compensations.
Really?
On a world scale, the percentage is not smaller. Imagine, if there are billions paid annually, these 10 to 15% are also billions.
This is shocking for me.
Unfortunately, the insurance industry is facing this serious problem, and cloud technology will allow to eliminate the possibility of fraudulent antedating information substitution.
Or at least they will reduce the risk of frauds.
They would reduce this percentage significantly.
Wow.
The second obstruction in the work of the insurance market is an overly complex regulatory system imposed by the administration to control the insurance companies. Undeniably, the interest of the consumers, the insured person, must be protected, of course. But at some point, the insurers turn into administrative workers. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out and a lot of human resources that the personnel have to expend, and they have to prepare dozens of papers and documents. Eventually, there have been earthquakes now and 50 years ago and 100 years ago, and there will be more in the future.
Yeah, let's hope there won't be any more earthquakes.
But this doesn't mean that it's necessary to complete dozens of forms and papers to prove your financial responsibility and self-sufficiency to cover these risks. This also confirms what I said earlier about how unpredictable the business environment is. This is what Associate Professor Christozov was talking about. We cannot predict everything. And that's why we're talking about the Vernam project, because it can reduce this uncertainty.
The world is a risky place, huh?
Yes, unfortunately, this is another serious problem for the insurers, to dedicate time to develop new products, to invest in these new advanced technologies. Instead, they have to devote time to these administrative procedures. They certainly can be facilitated to a degree. And by using the new technologies and by automation of the processes, and so on and so forth. And exactly the characteristics that Associate Professor Christozov listed are showing the need to change the model and introduce new ways for the insurance business to work. It one more time shows that we have to aim at these kinds of projects, similar to Vernam, that to a degree neutralize this flaw in the system that Professor Christozov perfectly described.
What does our broker get paid, and what does our broker really do? I mean, would you agree that the advisors or brokers offer convenient services?
Yes. Brokers in the modern world of insurance services are an inevitable link between the client and the insurance company. A big part of the insurance requests in a single company are submitted to and go through the brokers. But personally, I believe that with the increasing usage of advanced technologies, the number of brokers worldwide will decrease. And they will only be servicing big specific risks. General clients will be able to receive the insurance services directly from the insurance companies. And via the use of these advanced technologies, cloud technology, the cost of the insurance services will decrease because the intermediary will be eliminated. The drop of the commission will lead to the decrease in price.
Because we're running out of time, let's talk about the benefits of the Vernam project.
What are the benefits of the project? Usually, we characterize a project based on three characteristics. What is the relevance of a project, the importance, and the scale? In other words, the grand scope. The second is the economic efficiency of the project, the possible return on it, because all of the effects of any activity can be divided into two groups, social and economic effects, and we are seeking this balance, especially in the insurance sector. When we're talking about a single project, the insurance activities we are seeking balance between are the social and economic effects. Insurance, to add to what Mr. Christosov said, social activity and social characteristics.
Does that mean that it's the best alternative for the insurance
Yes,
marketplace?
exactly.
And most importantly, is it trusted enough, the Vernam project?
Yes. Now, the third characteristic, I mentioned only two, relevance and economic return. The third characteristic is the risk.
The risk, of course.
When we combine all three characteristics, how relevant is the project, how important it is, how profitable it is socially or economically, and what is the risk mitigation? Because when there is risk, there is uncertainty. The results of the economic or social activity are also, to a degree, uncertain. You cannot guarantee a 100% result. This probability leads to uncertainty. The uncertainty leads to risk. If we want to lower the risk, we need to reduce the uncertainty. These are the characteristics that are applied to the project Vernam. It corresponds to these characteristics. The project is aiming at the introduction of new technologies. It is very flexible. It's adaptive. So what I mentioned before as tendencies, this project meets the specifications. It's adaptive. It's profitable, large scale. It meets all three characteristics. And to answer your question, yes, you can believe in this project. The Vernam project is highly innovative since its creation is based on an entirely new model. But you have to look deeper into this project. It starts with the creation of one new cryptocurrency, the creation of one conventional broker that receives the bonus in cryptocurrency, and the insurance company in conventional currency that leads to a 90% return of the commission in cryptocurrency. This way, the final commission amount is reduced.
It sounds so futuristic.
Yes, but the most important part is that the project starts with the creation of a new crypto insurance company. And this prevents the volatility of the cryptocurrency because there are no crypto banks yet. This is just an idea. This is a new model. It's an entirely new model crypto bank and crypto insurance company.
Impressive. I'm shocked and impressed. Thank you so much for this conversation. Any final words would you add?
To finish up, I have to add that there should be more creativity in the insurance business. As Mr. Christosov said,
Huh?
more innovation. As a professor teaching heuristic methods in management, there are about 200 creative methods that are offered. It's not a bad idea for the developers to know how and when to apply them. And at the end, to add to the characteristics of the Vernam project. It is a creative project, and creativity and new possibilities are the guarantee of its success.
Yeah, would you agree?
The Vernam project is a step towards the future, and we need to move in that direction.
That's true. The future, the future. So we can see that it's a matter of time for the whole world of insurance to change drastically just within several years. And the process is already on the move. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how and when. In the next episode, we will talk about the Vernam platform and its big impact over the insurance as we know it. I am Geri Doncheva and we'll see you next time. Thank you.